except the mystery. Working as a florist is a simple life. Sometimes there are regulars who stay loyal to one person, yet most of them tend to have multiple lovers in secrecy. Of course, it's never been any concern to the florist of the Vermilion flower shop. Until one day, he found something awaiting on the doorstep of his store. A single rose, a symbol of love at first sight in the language of flowers. It's a small gesture that many other people might have overlooked, but he didn't. After hesitating, he decided to leave it there. Maybe he wasn't someone who believed in fate, but it felt strange to take it. No one particularly interesting dropped by that day, so maybe the rose was just a coincidence. However, it continued to taunt him, waiting outside of his shop until closing time. When the florist went to his car after locking the store up, he found something odd. There was another gift awaiting him. 2 roses were stuck between his windshield wipers. 2 roses, meaning, I am deeply in love with you. This time, they were deliberate. Someone had placed them there on purpose. They wanted him to take the roses. He left the flowers on his car, flying off on his way home. The following day, a familiar face appeared in his store. An old friend, accompanied with a beaming smile spread across her face. She began pressuring him to attend a blind date with a coworker of hers, gushing about how perfect they would be. He didn't give her an exact answer, but she gave him the girl's number, just in case. After the working day was over, he noticed 3 roses left over in a forgotten basket. 3 roses, symbolizing, I love you. This time, the florist took it as a sign to go on the blind date. On the day of his date, he noticed something odd about his car. Penetrating every tire was a single rose, each covered in thorns. They were so sharp that they pierced through the black rubber, making it impossible for him to leave. 4 roses, symbolizing, nothing will come between us. This time, he took it as a sign to cancel his date. After 5 days, the florist thought it might have blown over. His blind date never contacted him again, and he ignored any roses he had passed by when he was outside. If he ignored it, it would go away. Oh, how he was so wrong. His blind date had been found. Her eyes pierced with thorn-covered stems, belonging to roses, leaving her permanently blind. When he visited her in the hospital, the first thing he noticed were 6 beautiful flowers sat on her bedside table. 6 roses, symbolizing, I want to be yours, in the language of flowers. He asked her who had given those to her, and she said she had no clue. Somehow, they had just appeared overnight. The florist instinctively knew who had placed him there, and silently left the hospital room. That night, 7 red roses were on his bedside table, symbolizing infatuation for someone. He held them up closely, smelling something awful coming from the vase. He picked it up and examined the flowers, then saw something horrifying. 2 of the roses had eyeballs stuck in the center of them. This time, he began screaming, saying that he would rather be dead than keep receiving these roses. He wanted nothing to do with the person supposedly taunting him. After a while, he calmed down. Being distracted by his own thoughts, he stayed in his room for days. When he finally left, 8 pure white roses were left on his kitchen table. 8 roses, meaning, I support you. By the end of the day, the bouquet of roses were stained red with blood. This time, I gave him his last bouquet, placing 9 vermilion colored roses on his grave, symbolizing eternal love. Rows of roses filled up the cemetery. Next time, I was going to get this right. Make sure to like and subscribe. So bye for now, but not forever.